What is happening, everybody? Is Thursday afternoon, which means it is time for Neil Orfield and I to break down the upcoming Sorare slate. We're going to be covering the games Friday, Saturday, Sunday, teams we want to stack, pitchers we want to roster. We'll build some lineups here. It's going to be a good time. If you have any questions for us at all, throw them into the YouTube chat. We usually have a few people watching that like to ask us questions, and we always welcome those questions in the YouTube chat. We're going to be getting to them whenever we see them. And if you guys want to sign up at Sorare, good news, it is totally free. All you have to do is sign up using the link below so they know that we are the ones who sent you, and that's all there is to it. You pick out some players you can roster as a starting team, and it is totally free to get your foot in the door, and then you can step up in stakes and decide to buy some players on the secondary market when you are willing to make an investment and play for some rare and unique prizes. The one that I like to talk about, Neil, is where we had now a while ago during basketball season, somebody won a one-of-one Giannis that sold for nearly $200,000 in the secondary market. So those are the kind of rare prizes that you could win over at Sorare. But like I said, totally free to sign up clicking on that link below. Neil, how are you doing this week, and how's your Sorare lineup doing?
Well, I can show you exactly how my Sorare lineup is doing. And by the way, I believe there was a soccer player also who went for like 150,000 or something dollars, the one-of-one card. I don't know what the highest sale on an MLB card is. I'd be interested to know that, actually. Yeah, not off to a very hot start here. The Dodgers really let me down. Like I thought Dodgers and Coors was going to be a slam dunk. After Luis Castillo and Spencer Strider put up pretty good scores for me, just this whole Coors team situation here with McMahon, Diaz, Betts, Outman, and Freeman just letting me down. So hopefully today Coors can put up 20 runs and maybe I'll get back into it, but not looking so good this week.
Yeah, you needed the JD Martinez game.
I know, that was my big mistake. I needed to go out and get myself a JD Martinez. I just used the cards that I already had, and yeah, kind of disappointing.
I'm kind of interested to see if we and the other thing too that's going to impact this slate is that yesterday was insanely high scoring, and the Dodgers had a good game, right? The Dodgers put up 9 runs yesterday, so like yesterday playing DFS, it was nothing but the chalk that ended up hitting. And I'm kind of curious to see how similar it is with maybe some of those players showing up here. And so, like, I would assume that Jose Ramirez is in some top scoring lineups. I would assume that JD Martinez is in some top scoring lineups. But let's go and look at.
Yeah, so here's the. I mean, he has Ohtani as 78. Okay. He used, of course, Strider in the relief pitcher spot, or this person. I don't know if it's a male or female. Gausman put up 40. But yeah, it looks like Ohtani and Adolis Garcia are the guys that you really needed this week. And then Jose Ramirez, 59. So across the board, just a very, very big score here. 338 is with a day to go. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, there were some individual players that have just had massive games this week. And, like yesterday, if you're playing in traditional DFS comp, it took 1 million points to come in first place. And that's kind of what we're seeing here. Go check the lineup that's in second. I'm just curious to look at some of the top lineups and how they're performing right now.
So now this one actually used Strider in the starting pitcher spot. Devin Williams with 43 and that's pretty impressive. Also has Ohtani, also has Adolis Garcia. So yeah, those two once again, kind of what you need.
Yeah, and then this is so is this a Ranger stack? It's kind of hard to say. Is that
so Marcus Semien,
Corey Seager there?
Adolis Garcia, Corey Seager, yep.
So, yeah, Rangers scored 1 million runs yesterday. They ended up putting up 10 runs. They had 8 runs the night before. So some really, really big games. By the way, Ryan Rennebaum is in YouTube chat. He's asking us, what scoring system does Sorare use? So we'll pull up the score. It's not
Let's see.
It's not the same as any other site that's out there. So we'll run through the scoring right now.
Let's see.
We'll show you.
Go. Yeah, so this is the scoring for Sorare. Yeah, it's very different. I mean, I shouldn't say very different, but it is. Yeah, it's different than any other site. It's not like exactly the same as any.
Yeah, like the general idea of the stuff you get points for is kind of similar, but still you're getting three points for a run, 3 points for an RBI, so that's different than both DraftKings and FanDuel. You're getting negative points too. If a hitter strikes out, it's -1. If a hitter gets caught stealing, it's -1. Yep. Anything else really too much different? Not from the hitter standpoint. Let's look pitchers. So the thing that's going to make the biggest difference as far as pitchers are concerned is the points you're getting for relievers, right? You have to play a reliever. Now, one thing that I think we've discovered, or I should say Neil has discovered as a little bit of a hack to this, is that there are a lot of starting pitchers with relief pitcher eligibility, like the Spencer Strider card that Neil and I are pretty frequently putting into his lineups as the relief pitcher. But you'll see here, you've got stats for starting pitchers, for relief pitchers, And one thing that's going to make a pretty big difference for the reliever, you get points just for them entering the game. 5 points for a relief appearance, 10 points for a save, 5 points for a hold, and then you do get the negative points for allowing runs, walking hitters, allowing hits, and all that. One thing that is notable, if you're going to play a relief pitcher, it's hard to really make a justification for a middle reliever or a setup man when you can get a closer, right? Just from the standpoint of I don't think any middle reliever is any more likely to come into a game than a closer, but the hold is worth 5 points. The save is worth 10 points. That's a big difference. So in the times that Neil and I have had to go to a relief pitcher because Zach Eflin doesn't have a start or Spencer Strider doesn't, we've gone to Romano, the closer of the Blue Jays, who Neil has in his collection, but pretty hard to justify playing any kind of setup man or anything like that.
Yeah, and I'm thinking as we're talking about, we should go and I'm going to look at who are some of the top scoring relievers because I think it's all going to be, it's all going to be relievers who are starting pitchers, who are actually starting pitchers. So I'm actually kind of curious. Let's see, relief pitchers. So the top scoring relief pitchers on average: Spencer Strider, of course, number 1. DL Hall, is he's a reliever, right? So he's an actual reliever, I believe.
No, but he also he's made very, very limited. He's had very, very limited time at the big leagues this year, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see. DL Hall. Yeah, DL Hall is back in AAA right now.
Okay.
So it's funny. He actually made one appearance at the big league level this year, and it was a long relief appearance where he pitched 3 innings. But all 11 of his outings in AAA this year were as starts. He's a very well-regarded prospect, but doesn't seem like the Orioles, at least as of right now, are willing to give him a spot in the rotation. But he's going to be a starter when he does get called up.
Garrett Whitlock up here.
Yep, didn't realize Whitlock had
I didn't realize that either.
Relief pitcher eligibility.
And I don't see Eflin. I wonder if Eflin is just sold out, doesn't have any cards on sale currently.
Yeah, that's probably what it is. Because I imagine Eflin. Clark Schmidt has relief pitcher eligibility. I didn't realize that either.
Yeah. So
and by the way, we've got Clark Schmidt. This is a little past the point now, but a relief pitcher eligibility starting today against the Oakland A's.
Oh, all right. Yeah. So I guess not on. I was thinking we could use it for this slate, but no, this slate starts tomorrow. So I guess we're gonna miss out on that one. Probably somebody else has him in there.
Yeah. Well, we'll see if the A's get perfect gamed against for the second night in a row.
Yeah.
By the way, I don't know that this has ever happened to me before. Also, there haven't been any perfect games since I've started playing DFS because the last perfect game, if I'm not mistaken, was a very long time ago. Perfect game.
It was like 14 years ago or nah. I want to say 2000. I read, I think somebody wrote that it was 2012 or something. So maybe.
Yeah, so before. This was like pre me playing DFS 2012, and who was it? Oh yeah, it was Felix Hernandez, August 15, 2012. Neil, I faded a chalk perfect game yesterday.
I don't think that I think I had some of Herman. I actually I started way too late using the Sims, and I couldn't play most of my lineups. Could not have anybody from the early start time. Like I had to, most of my lineups were built around the later start time. So I think Herman was on the early start time. So I didn't play him as a result.
No, he was in the last game of the night.
Oh, was he? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, then I'm sure I did have some Herman.
I mean, I had some, but he was like 28% owned, and I think I had like 13 or 14% of him,
which is reasonable. Yeah. I mean, obviously great matchup, but yeah, it did not help me. I had a little bit of a sweat because I played a good amount of the White Sox, and I played them as I only did one entry on a different side. I played one entry and I just hand built a White Sox lineup, and it was in like third place with like tons of innings to go, and then all of the White Sox batters died in the last few innings, so it was kind of miserable.
So I know this because there was a point last night where after the Domingo Herman perfect game, Josh Engelman was in first and second in the relay throw on DraftKings. He was in first and second. And by the way, the only way for him to vault to that place in the standings is he actually needed Herman to complete the perfect game.
Wow.
And,
did he win?
And then he ended up getting caught by a White Sox stack in that ninth inning when the White Sox, when the White Sox ended up putting up, I don't even remember if they scored. I think they might have scored a couple runs in the ninth inning, but they also had a bunch of hitters on base. And then Tim Anderson grounded into a double play. So Josh did end up coming in second and third last night, but he would have been first and second if not for that ninth inning by the White Sox.
That's brutal, but also, I mean, second and third, not too bad.
Yeah, but also part of it too is like he needed if Herman didn't get the perfect game,
Right.
he wouldn't have been, I think he would have come and it was like 5th and 6th or something like that.
Yeah. And I was in the opposite boat. I was very much cheering against Herman because I did not have him in my good lineups.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I had a lot of Dodger stacks, which were fine yesterday. They just weren't the best stack on the slate. And then I didn't have a lot of Herman, didn't have a lot of Snell. So yeah, it wasn't a terrible slate for me yesterday, but wasn't a good one. Just one where I kind of lost out a little bit. But either way, one thing to note there, Clark Schmidt apparently has relief pitcher eligibility here on Sorare. And whenever you see him in a good start, this is something to note for the future, is that you could get him and could have played him in a relief pitcher spot going up against the Oakland A's today.
Yeah, that would have been a good one for this week. Somebody in chat saying Alexis Diaz, one of the best. Yeah, he looks like he's John Riley says Alexis Diaz, one of the best relievers. Yeah, he's towards the top in terms of average score here for relievers.
Yeah, I'll pull up the numbers for Diaz for the year and see what we're looking at here. So Diaz has made 36 appearances, 35 innings, 1.8 ERA, 2.91 expected ERA, and most importantly, we're talking about the fantasy output, tons of strikeouts. He has a 40.4% K rate this year, so that'll definitely lend itself to some individually big outings this year. One thing also that helps him, 22 saves, so he is the closer for the Reds, and he has racked up, 22 saves already.
That's incredible.
Let's look at who's leading baseball in saves this year.
I'd probably guess Diaz. 22 is. I mean, how far into the season are we?
Halfway through.
Yeah, so he's on pace for 44 or so.
Well, it would have helped if Fangraphs let me sort by saves. Oh, you know why? Because none of the relief pitchers are qualified.
Okay.
So they're not showing up. So I have to change the minimum innings pitch to get the relievers to show up. Relief pitching is also so dumb because the sample size, like these guys will throw like 60 innings for the year, and then even halfway through the season, they've thrown like 28 innings. One bad outing and it ruins your entire season as a reliever.
Yeah.
So it is Class A, by the way, for the Guardians is 24 saves. Doval from the Giants is 23 saves. Your guy, Jordan Romano, 23 saves. Neil has Jordan Romano. And then 22 saves for Alexis Diaz. He is 4th right now in baseball in saves.
Okay, and Ryan pointed out Doval also one of the best. Yeah, some good. It's how many points you actually can get out of a relief pitcher during some of these slates, like because they can pitch multiple days in a row. I think 2 is generally the max. Is that about right for a relief pitcher?
Yeah, probably about that. Right around 2 is probably the most you're typically going to get. Maybe you get 3 on one of the 4-game slates, but that's probably not going to be all that common.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, a lot of good options. Still, I think it's just safer to go to, like, if you can afford a Strider, I think it makes most sense to play Strider in these limited contests.
Do we have access to Strider or Zach Eflin making a start in the upcoming slate?
Good question. Let's see. All right, so I'm going to go Limited Pro is my standard contest I like to play. We do. We've got Strider. We've got we got a lot.
I like the new layout.
Yeah, this is new. I think just last week.
So it wasn't here when we were doing this last week. So this is newer.
Oh, was it not? Okay. I think it was here on Monday when I did the VOD about it.
I dig it. Pretty cool looking. Pretty suave.
Yeah.
So check out the relief pitcher spot. But we do have a start for Strider. Nice.
We do. Yep.
All right. Nice. So we're going to be able to get Strider. John Riley saying the new layout is great. I agree. I think it's really cool looking.
You don't have to, like, you used to have to scroll over to see all of the different spots. Now you can.
It's also a little bit more intuitive what the positions are.
Yeah. It's tough with like relief pitcher on there. Like, where do you put them? But I think it makes sense.
So let's also now just go and start to look at some of the pitchers as a whole. Something you and I like to do here, Neil, starting pitcher, very important.
Yep.
Already got it pulled up here, the upcoming schedule for the next few slates. And I want to see which starting pitchers we would target. If we had the option of anybody, who it is we'd go after. I have a feeling we might just land on the pitchers that you've already got here anyway.
Right.
Because you've got some really good ones, Spencer Strider, Shane McClanahan. But let's see what else stands out. One thing you and I typically run into is that oftentimes, especially as of late, we haven't gotten a lot of slates where a bunch of starting pitchers have been known well in advance.
Right.
But as you'll see on screen, TBD in a bunch of these games. TBD, the best starting pitcher we have going in baseball right now. Workhorse, TBD.
Workhorse. 0 ERA.
Zero ERA and starts like 8 times a day.
Yeah. I'm not seeing any pitchers that's, I guess, Shane McClanahan against the Mariners is okay. Still not a great spot. Do you see anybody that stands out to you on this first page for the this is the Friday starts?
McClanahan against the Mariners is the one that's going to make the most sense, just because McClanahan is having such a good season. We know the kind of upside that he has in terms of the K rate. You already have him in your collection as well. Pulling up other numbers for McClanahan, so I just have them all in front of me to read to you guys. McClanahan has a 2.23 ERA this year. Does seem like he has some regression coming his way because he does actually have a 3.73 expected ERA, a 3.65 FIP, but still, you're talking about a starting pitcher with a 26.7% K rate. And even if he was to regress to those underlying numbers, it doesn't necessarily mean he's a bad pitcher, right? If you have an ERA in the mid threes, not the end of the world, especially this high strikeout rate. So, yeah, I agree with you. Not the easiest matchup in the world, but better than anything else that's going tomorrow.
Yeah, nothing really standing out here. Don't really want to be playing. I thought for a second, like, do I want to play Freddie Peralta against the Pirates? But I don't think I really want to go there. So yeah, really not much there tomorrow. Let's see what's on for Saturday.
All right. Checking out Saturday now.
Garrett Cole going up against the Cardinals.
I think I prefer the McClanahan spot. Cardinals also really difficult to strike out right-hand pitching.
Corbin Burns against the Pirates. Like, if you already have that card, would you consider playing that?
Yeah, if I already had it, I wouldn't go out of my way to play it. Dylan Cease against the A's is obviously an interesting one as well.
Yeah.
Cease has definitely had a down year relative to expectations, but let's look at some of the recent outings and see if there's any reason to be promising, any reason for promise when it comes to Dylan Cease in a bounce back. So 4.04 ERA this year, 4.29 expected ERA. A far cry from last year when you had 2.2 ERA and a 2.7 expected ERA. Strikeouts still decent, 27.8%. Let's see. Recent games for, I think Dylan Cease is probably the guy that we'd be looking at here. So Cease, big uptick in strikeouts as of late. The walks have also come down a little bit. So the last 3 starts, Cease has allowed a total of 5 runs across 3 starts. He has 29 strikeouts to 5 walks. So it looks like we're starting to see better results for Dylan Cease. He's got a great matchup against the Oakland A's in Oakland, which is a favorable pitcher's park. That's the pitcher standing out the most to me right now.
Yeah, I think I'm with you. Dylan Cease looking good there. Scrolling down, I mean, could play Charlie Morton if you have the card against the Marlins. I'd consider that if you have it. Again, not going out of my way for it. What do you think about Glasnow against the Mariners?
I like McClanahan better.
Okay. Good, because I already have the McClanahan, so that's easier for me.
Yeah. So there's not a massive difference between the two. I would say there's probably more upside with Glasnow going forward, but Glasnow has also been pretty underwhelming so far. And keep in mind, too, he's coming back from injuries. He's coming back from Tommy John surgery. Tyler Glasnow, 4.45 ERA so far, 5.25 expected ERA, generating a bunch of strikeouts. The stuff is still fantastic for him, 35.2% K rate, but I would want to just see a little bit more out of him. And considering that you do have those numbers, right? The 4.45 ERA, the 5.25 expected ERA, I'll lean a little bit more towards McClanahan. And, the stuff is still really good for Glasnow, but it is somewhat concerning that coming back from surgery, his fastball velocity has dipped from 97.5 in his peak prior to getting hurt, 96.2 this year. Home run to fly ball rate is up. So, yeah, maybe just a little bit of diminished skill for Glasnow coming back. And the other thing, too, is maybe just needs to build his arm strength up a little bit as well. But, yeah, I'd rather play McClanahan than Glasnow. Same matchup, obviously.
Yep. All right, and then we can look at Sunday's games, unless there's anything else here that you wanted to touch on.
No, let's look at Sunday.
Sonny Gray, not the best matchup with Baltimore. Of course, here we've got that Strider start that we already mentioned.
Yeah. Yeah, not a lot of good starting pitchers in good spots. Even the guys so a couple things is you got Michael Kopech against the A's, but I would rather play I'd rather play Dylan Cease against the A's, who we already talked about. So I think if you could play any pitcher for this upcoming slate, it would be number one Strider against the Marlins, but you could put him in the relief spot, and the other one would be Dylan Cease against the Oakland A's.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. Those are the two best spots overall. I don't think that the Cease one is like me than McClanahan, that I'm going to go out of my way to get it, since I already have the McClanahan, but I do think that would probably be optimal.
All right. Let's go and check out your lineup and see what kind of offenses we could lean towards. Also, I didn't check. Is there Coors Field?
It's the Tigers in Coors, and I don't think I have any Tigers.
But you do have Rockies.
I do have Rockies. Yeah, against the Tigers pitchers. Let me double check. I believe that's what Yeah, so Tigers in Coors is kind of interesting. I kind of want to look at what how much Tigers bats are going for.
Yeah, we could go ahead and do that. I'll look at the leaders for the Tigers this year. Let's see who is playing well for the Tigers. I mean, in general, it's going to be nobody's on the offense has been that good for the Tigers, but
right.
Let's see who has overall been the best hitters on the team. So if we look at all of the hitters, a 128 WRC plus for Kerry Carpenter.
$8.
Boy, it is not great here.
That bad. I was going to say, I mean, they're very inexpensive.
Matt Vierling has a 110 WRC plus.
$4.
Riley Green is a 127 WRC plus.
13.
Yeah, those are the only players that are having above average hitting seasons on the team.
So would you like, do you think it's worth it to go out and pay, what is it, like $22 or whatever it is? It's what 13 for Green plus 417 plus $25 to get that trio in Coors?
I think I'd probably rather just play the Rocky side that you already have.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
You look through the rest of the hitters, by the way. I mean, this team, they have an 85 WRC plus overall as a team, so well below average. I don't know if that's worse than I'm pretty sure it's not worse than baseball, but it's certainly close to the worst. And then you just look at some of these other players that they've been trotting out there this year, and it's like, I get it. Spencer Torkelson is one of the top prospects in baseball. I have to give him playing time. He's an 86 WRC plus. Miguel Cabrera, if there's any reason for people to show up to the games, I guess it's you want to see Miguel Cabrera hit milestones, but he's an 84 WRC plus. The majority of the players that are playing every day for this team, just miserable. Javi Baez is a 62 WRC plus this year, and he has to play every day. They're pot committed. They gave him money.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't have to.
Poor
Obviously,
Tigers.
they could go other ways, but
they're probably going to.
Trying to see it out. So
it's probably their best option to like see if you can figure it out at this point.
Yeah. So I guess we're just going to have to stay. Yeah. John Raleigh pointing that Riley Green is out. Yeah, I'm aware. I'm just reading off anybody who has a decent WRC plus on the team, and it's almost nobody. Like I said, the only players that are above average hitters for the entire year: Matt Vierling, Kerry Carpenter, Riley Green. I just don't think there's any reason to be looking at this Tigers offense. Even when they're in Coors Field, I'd still rather be looking at the Rocky side of the game, or maybe an elite offense.
Yep. Well, I do have this Ryan McMahon. What do you think? Do I play this? Looks like that's my only Rockies player eligible at corner infield.
Oh, at corner infield. Yeah. And you have like Tovar also or something, don't you?
I do, and I think I have a bunch of injured Rockies players.
Yeah, Chris Bryant.
Yep.
I remember there's one injured Rocky.
Elias Diaz.
Yeah.
Is he still mashing? I think he's been okay.
Diaz makes sense.
Jerks
Catcher's down his middle infield. Got Profar in the outfield. Yeah, throw Profar in.
And then I've got Charlie Blackmon and Chris Bryant.
Right.
Hurt. So that hurts.
Any other Rockies? Any other healthy Rockies, I should say.
I don't think so. I do have Freeman and Betts. Where are the Dodgers playing?
In Kansas City, which is also very favorable.
Yeah, not great pitchers in Kansas City. Should I just play Freeman and Betts? Maybe.
We could go Freeman and Betts at the extra and the flex. Do you have any other Dodgers also that maybe we would put in there and play instead of any of the, because I think this
I
is
could
a
play
really
James
solid
Outman. James Outman instead of Jurickson Profar would be an option.
I'd stick with Profar for Coors.
Yeah, I think that would be my only other Dodgers option.
So,
I've got Max Muncy.
You've got Muncy, who's back now.
Who's eligible a lot of places, second base, third base, and DH. So I'd be middle infielder or corner infielder.
Well, the other thing, too, is you could play Betts at outfield instead of Profar, and then you could play anybody at the utility spot.
True.
Yeah, let's go with, let's throw Muncy in.
Yeah, all right.
I think that's a pretty good looking lineup.
Yeah, 3 Dodgers, 3-2 stack with the Dodgers and the Rockies, and then Shane McClanahan, Spencer Strider. I like it. Looks pretty sexy. And then I could. So unfortunately, my common cards. I guess I could do a card swap to see if I can get a better common card. Because we've
only got like 2 minutes left. Let's do a swap, and that'll wrap us up here. Because I think it's worth also showing people who are maybe new to So Rare or haven't watched our shows, and we haven't done any of the card swaps for a while. Is this something you can do with your starter cards, your common ones? Is you could trade them in for other ones. It's going to end up being somebody who is, in a comparable tier.
Yep. So if I want to really get a superstar, I can trade in Garrett Cole for a better bat potentially. I made really poor choices, Greg, when I signed up. Yeah, you get your option of like you get a salary cap, choose players within it, and I went for just Twins, Red Sox, but like didn't pick the best players because I had spent too much at pitcher and just I don't know, it was not the best.
I'd say probably trade in like how often are you going to play Sonny Gray over Garrett Cole or Shane McClanahan?
You wanted me to trade in my Twins guy? I guess I'll do it for you, Greg.
I mean, if we don't get anything good, then we're not going to end up taking anything.
That's true. That's a good point. All right, so I have a lot of middle infielders. I don't know what position do you think I should shoot for here?
Let's go outfielder.
Okay, do outfielder.
If we don't get anything good, we don't get anything good, and we don't have to make the swap. It looks like we didn't get anything good. Oh, never mind. We got Eloy at the end.
Yeah, I was saying this is like for the Sonny Gray tier. This seems pretty underwhelming, but then Eloy looks pretty good.
Yeah, let's go with Eloy. Make the swap. There we go. So if you guys are starting out your collection from the core, which are all the free cards, that's something you could do. You win some contests. You get some cards that are, just prizes for being in contests you get with your starter set. And then you could also go ahead and swap some of those in for other players. One of the other utilities here, but we're at the end of our time. Guys, thank you very much for watching. If you haven't done yet, like the video, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Don't forget, if you're signing up at So Rare for the first time, use the link below to sign up totally for free. I hope you guys have some good luck with all your lineups this week. Check out MLB Live Before Lock later tonight because I will be on that. Is it with you or with Eric, Neil?
Not me. I've got softball tonight.
Okay, so I'll be on with Eric tonight. So go check that out. If you guys want more info about the entire baseball slate tonight, check out MLB Live Before Lock on the Stochastic YouTube channel. Have a good one. See you guys later tonight.